Maplewood was a serene little town nestled in the heart of Kansas, characterized by its tree-lined streets and expansive cornfields stretching as far as the eye could see. In this established tranquility, life unfolded with a sense of familiarity and tradition. Yet, at the center of this peaceful existence thrived a family unlike any other, the Ramans. 12-year-old Sammy Raman was a lively, inquisitive boy with a strong sense of faith that guided his every step. Each afternoon after school, he helped his father at their family supermarket, then attended the small mosque housed in a quaint, converted building. With enthusiasm, he recited the Quran, posed countless questions to the Imam, and endeavored to embody the fundamental values of Islam: patience, kindness, and truth. One day, while strolling towards school, Sammy spotted a flyer affixed to a lamppost: Interfaith Debate, Truth in the Scriptures, with Reverend John Matthews, Saturday at 6 p.m., Maplewood Community Center. Curiosity sparked within him. Sammy approached his approachable and nurturing social science teacher, Mr. Benson. "You know, Sammy, you have a remarkable way of articulating your faith. You should consider attending, perhaps even participating." Sammy felt a wave of hesitation wash over him. "I'm just a kid, sir." "Sometimes, children offer the most genuine insights, Mr. Benson replied with a warm smile. 2 days after his conversation with Mr. Benson, the Rahman family sat down to a peaceful dinner, sharing a steaming bowl of biryani. Just as they began to enjoy their meal, the home phone rang. Sammy's father answered, his expression shifting from surprise to respect. "Yes, he's here. I'll put him on," he said, handing the phone to Sammy with a blend of concern and pride in his gaze. "It's Pastor Matthews. He wants to speak with you." With a mix of hesitation and anticipation, Sammy took the phone and spoke into it. "Hello." The calm, measured voice of the Reverend filled the line. "Good evening, Sammy. I've heard that you are a wise young man, respectful and passionate about your faith. I am organizing an interfaith debate this Saturday night, and I would like you to join us. Not to engage in a typical debate, but to share your perspective from the heart." A whirlwind of excitement and fear surged within Sammy. Why was he chosen? Why not an imam or an adult? I'm just a boy, sir. I'm not sure I'm the right person for this." "You're right, you are young, but it's your essence and the sincerity you possess that can truly move people," Pastor Matthews replied calmly. After hanging up, Sammy's heart raced as he turned to explain the situation to his parents. They exchanged thoughtful glances, communicating their support without words. His father placed a reassuring hand on Sammy's shoulder and said, "You are not alone, my son. What you carry within you transcends age and titles. Speak from your heart, and Allah will stand with you." His mother nodded in agreement, her eyes shimmering with pride. "And always remember, the truth does not need to shout, it shines softly." Sammy nodded, feeling a sense of determination rising within him, even amidst his doubts. He had just accepted a mission far greater than he ever imagined. On Saturday night, the sky over Maplewood had turned a deep purple. An unusual crowd gathered at the community center. Chairs were added at the last minute. The room was buzzing with conversation, a mixture of curiosity, skepticism and silent expectations. Sammy arrived with his parents, dressed in his best white kameez, carefully ironed by his mother. His little figure contrasted with the bustle of the crowd. He held in his hand a small pocket Quran, worn on the edges. Despite the insistent glances, he kept his head high. Reverend John Matthews, dressed in black with an immaculate pastoral collar, climbed onto the platform. His grave voice resounded from his first words, "My friends, tonight we're talking about God, truth, and salvation." He spoke eloquently of the Christian message, the crucifixion, the redemption. His gaze sometimes slipped toward Sammy, who remained silent, concentrated, sitting on a chair a little too big for him, with his feet swinging above the ground. Then the time came. The Reverend turned to the boy with a smile almost mocking, but not mean. "And you, my boy, what do you think?" A whisper ran through the room. Sammy felt his heart beat faster. He took a deep breath, straightened up, then spoke in a clear voice. "I believe that there is no divinity but God, and that Muhammad is his messenger. I believe that Jesus is a great prophet, born of Mary, a miracle of Allah, but not God himself." A heavy silence fell. Some raised their eyebrows. Others exchanged glances. Pastor Matthews chained, his tone becoming sharper. "But tell me, Sammy, if Islam is a religion of peace, why do we hear so much about violence in the name of Allah?" Sammy looked up at him, without being aggressive. "Because some people confuse religion with politics, sir. because men use faith to justify their ambitions. But the Islam I am learning teaches me patience, mercy, and justice, even towards those who are not like me. The pastor raised an eyebrow. What about freedom? Would you accept that someone leave your faith without being punished? Sammy smiles slightly. The Quran says, no compulsion in religion. It is not for us to force hearts. Allah guides whom He wills. My role is to show by my behavior what Islam is, not to impose anything. Whispers of astonishment were heard in the hall. A man at the back was weeping. A Christian woman shook hands with her Muslim neighbor. The pastor remained silent for a moment, unsettled. He expected hesitant answers, fear, but what he saw in front of him, it was the quiet certainty of a sincere child. And in that suspended moment, something changed. When the debate ended, the room was silent for a few moments. It was not an empty silence, but a silence full of emotion, questions and deep questioning. Then, slowly, the applause began. Not thunderous, but sincere. They resonated with the respect that is reserved for an unexpected truth, carried by a voice that no one expected to hear, that of a child. Sammy came down from the platform with trembling hands, still beating his heart. He didn't feel like he had won a debate. He wasn't there for that. He just spoke from his heart. But what he did not know yet is that his heart had touched dozens of souls. People began to approach. An old woman, her eyes clouded with tears, reached out to him. My little one, what you said about Jesus, about Mary, I didn't know that Islam spoke of them with such respect. A young black man, dreadlocks tied back, briefly hugged him. You're a real man. You said things without fear. Keep it up, brother. Even children, younger than him, came to say hello timidly, as if he had become a kind of discreet hero. But the most unexpected moment was when Reverend Matthews himself approached. He had taken off his jacket, his shoulders seemed heavier, his eyes more human. He was no longer the confident preacher of the early evening. He looked like a man in the midst of an inner storm. He stopped in front of Sammy, lowered his head slightly and then said in a softer voice that was unknown to him, You got me thinking, boy. He paused, looking around as if searching for words that he had never used. Your faith is true. It does not cry out. It does not threaten. It breathes. It lives. And tonight, I think it has touched more people than my sermons in the last 10 years. Sammy didn't know what to say. He just looked at the man in front of him, eyes wide open, heart full. The pastor put a hand on his shoulder and asked softly, Can you lend me a Quran? An even stronger silence fell between them. Sammy slowly pulled out his pocket his small copy of the English Quran. It was a little worn, annotated in the margins, but it was the one that accompanied him since he was 9 years old. He held it out without hesitation. I'll give it to you, sir. It helped me understand a lot of things. Maybe it will do the same thing for you. The pastor took the book with infinite delicacy, as if he was receiving something precious. He shook his head in silence, his eyes moist. And in this room in Maplewood, that night, a small spark had lit up. The spark of profound change. An encounter between sincerity and the search for truth. Weeks passed by, and Matthews found himself drawn back to the mosque again and again. Each visit was marked by questions, contemplative reading, and deep meditation. The imam and the community embraced him with open arms, free from any judgment. Finally, on a chilly winter morning, Matthews stood before them, tears streaming down his cheeks, as he pronounced the Shahada. That moment marked a profound change for Maplewood, one that would endure forever. The video of the debate quickly went viral, propelling Sammy to a national platform. He became a beacon of inspiration, receiving invitations to speak at lectures and appearing on various shows, all the while maintaining his humility. I am just a boy, he remarked. It is Allah who guides hearts. In the heart of Maplewood, Sammy's story continues to echo, the tale of a young child, a bearer of light, whose faith illuminated the world around him.